All right, Josh. Can you bring him in?
Thank you. I think I had just offered defense 18 for admission, and I submitted it to the state inspection.
All right. Objection. Submitted.
Ms. Phelan, I think where we were talking about the letter, and that you received it with your mom in your presence, and you opened it and read it. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Now, you also stated, I think earlier, just to refresh the jury where we were, that it was actually 2 letters in 1 envelope, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, Brandon references that letter. Is that correct?
Yes.
He references that there are 2 letters.
Yes, he said the first one was more informational, the second one was more personal, but
Okay.
he just wanted to get that.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
You may.
Now, Jenna, can you see that letter?
Yes.
All right. So, and this is where he says, Jenna, I wrote the other letter last week, but couldn't send it out. Just borrowed an envelope, so I'm sending both. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. And he goes on to tell you that he just got transferred to Del Valley, and it is a lot worse, or something like that?
Yes.
And that he's in max security with harder criminals and such? He also goes on to say that the guards do not like me very well, but at least the inmates treat me well. Everyone was giving me the thumbs up as I left downtown. I even got a fan letter, someone who wants to be pen pals. It kind of made me feel worse than I already do. I mean, I didn't do anything, right? I didn't mean to do anything,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is
Yes.
that what he says?
Yes.
And then he goes on, and we won't read the rest of it, but he goes on to talk about the cheapest way to make phone calls, and he gives you his information on how to get in touch with him, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he tells you about the phone calls that he gets, and he also tells you to sell as much as stuff as you can.
Yes.
Okay. So he's giving you kind of instructions on what to do with his property and
Yeah.
such. Okay. He also goes on to say that, talk about us, let's be fair, this is kind of Brandon, right? He talks about his lawyers giving him bad news, and life without parole is his best option, apparently. And he just doesn't see how that's possible because he doesn't remember anything, right?
Yes.
And he even said if they don't get creative, I'm going to have to dump them before trial, right?
Yes. Yeah.
This isn't necessarily a self-serving letter that Brandon's writing to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I've got a little jumbled. That's not the second page. I'm going to go to the next page, okay, and then come back. That is actually the second part of that, right?
I believe that was the first part. I think that was the first one that I opened. I think it was folded up, but it was kind of all folded up together.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure.
Where he says, tell my lawyers what the text said. What text was he referring to?
That text that he had sent me that night.
The Life is Pain one? That
Yes.
one?
Yeah. Yeah.
He says, tell them to tell me because I'm interested. Did he not just, he took that to mean he didn't remember?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. But he also asked you, does he not keep researching cases on Ambien and Xanax, right?
Yes.
And let's go on to the, if I could just take you to the other letter that was enclosed with it, right?
Yes. That one.
Jenna, just, this is Brandon's handwriting, right?
Yes.
Okay. Would you read that first paragraph, please?
Yes. Hey Jenna, thanks for the letter. I wish things could have been different. Looking back, I didn't take the breakup very well. I didn't handle the relationship well. Too bad I can't turn back time. I feel like I woke up in hell on Friday and cannot escape. The days before come in flashbacks. Otherwise, I cannot remember a thing. My heart goes out to Jaime Padron and his family and his 2 daughters. I'm unbelievably remorseful. I'm also sorry you and your family have been tossed into the spotlight. You've suffered for this, and I'm sorry.
Then he goes on, just so we can get a completeness of the letter. He talks about what his day is like and how it's really different from whatever he was used to doing before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In that last sentence, in that last paragraph, he begins by saying, I love you, Jenna, you were my whole world.
Yeah. You want me to read that? Or what? Pardon?
Could you go down to the second to the last sentence and read that?
I have been selfish.
Yes.
I have been selfish, rude, cruel, and spread pain to you and many others. Obviously, life still has lessons for me to learn. I have to study again.
Now, can you look at this paragraph here for a second? I mean, this part of the letter.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be a line in between something. Is that a fold mark, or
I think so, yeah.
he talks about a time you
Yeah,
guys-
just where he got bullet or whatever.
Okay. He talks about going to Black Hawk and gambling his car payment away or something.
Yeah.
Could you read the very last paragraph for me, please?
Sure, it says, it was so good to see you and my mom. Thanks for visiting. Too bad it will be through glass, paper, telephone, probably forever. I will get a last request. It will be to hug you. It may be 20 years from now, hopefully, even if you're married with kids by then. You'll grant an old ghost his last wish. Just a hug from an old life, just a hug. That's all for now. Please stay tuned.
What is the significance of this hand that he puts on the letters and you seem to put on some of yours?
I think this is when it first started, this first letter they sent me. But through our whole relationship, we would always give each other the I love you sign. It was just something we did. And so then when he was in jail, it was an easy thing to like put our hands up to the glass when we saw each other or to the camera over the video monitor thing. And it was just something that we've always done. And then that way, you know, like we can't touch each other obviously, but if I know that he traces his hand, I can put my hand on it and just, you know, my hand's been in that same spot. That's why we do it.
Thank you, Jim. That's what it's
Ms. Bailey, do you need a moment to compose yourself?
Let me just have a drink of water.
Yeah, turn it back to that first page, please.
That was the first one I showed.
The part where you had to read? You don't know? Ms. Bailey, let me know when you get ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
You okay?
Yeah.
What are you crying about?
Oh,
I feel really sad that the only time that I will get to see him is through glass or through a telephone call, or I just have like, there's still a lot of like emotions I feel that go on between us.
Sure, you love him very much, don't
Yeah.
you? You would consider him to be your soulmate?
No,
I'm sorry,
no,
you do not consider him to be your soulmate?
no, I don't.
You said that in letters, or haven't you?
Yes, and at the time I think I believed it, and now that's been quite some time, and I've kind of moved on, and I've had like a different relationship going on or whatever. And so at the time I felt that way and I told him that, but I have moved on with my life at this point.
Ex-soulmate now, you
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, he was my first love, so I guess I really did think he was my soulmate. Okay. I'm sorry, Hannah. Okay, fine. Sorry. Sorry.
What is that mark on your wrist? On your top?
It's a heart tattoo.
What's that from?
It's just a tattoo that I got when I was 18, before I ever met Brandon or anything.
Do you remember you had Brandon burning yourself?
Yes.
I'm sorry, shut up. Let me finish the question.
I'm sorry.
Burning yourselves for cigarettes?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
It was up at Pingree Park where we met, and it was, and he was like my first love. It seems silly now, but it was romantic at the time that we would have the same scars on our hands. Now at 25, I realize that probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I was 19 and in love, and I thought it was romantic, so we used cigarettes to burn similar scars onto our hands.
And you both have those scars on your hand from the cigarettes you did as a show of love and affection for each other.
Yes.
It wasn't suicide attempts or anything like that.
No.
Can you do me a favor? Can you read that part over again that you just read?
I think Brad read that part. Do you want me to read it anyways? About the thumbs up leaving? Is that the part?
I only want you to read the part that you read earlier.
I believe that Brad read that.
Does he need to move the letter down some?
I guess so. Yeah, I don't believe that I read that part. Okay, scroll up maybe a little. I'm not sure what part of the letter I read. That part. Thanks for the letter. I wish things could have been different. Looking back, I didn't take the breakup very well. I didn't handle the relationship well. Too bad I can't turn back time. I feel like I woke up in hell on Friday and cannot escape. The days before come back in flashbacks, otherwise I cannot remember a thing. My heart goes out to Jaime Padron and his family, his 2 daughters. I'm unbelievably remorseful. I'm also sorry you and my family have been tossed into the
That's
spotlight.
enough. I just wanted to make sure I heard that he wrote unbelievably remorseful.
Yes, sir.
That's what he wrote in the letter he
Yes.
sent to you, correct?
Yes, sir.
This letter that he sent to you, so there were 2 letters written on separate days, correct?
I believe so. He didn't write the dates at the top of the letters. I always do that. He didn't. But they both came in one envelope.
2 separate letters, though, correct?
Yes.
I mean, one was not a continuation of the other.
I don't believe so. I think they were 2 separate letters.
And these letters, you believe, were sent from the Travis County Jail?
That's what the post office said. They arrived in my mailbox, so I would assume that they had to go through the jail.
Well, of course, they could have gone through attorneys, correct?
I guess that's possible. I'm not sure if that's possible or not.
You weren't aware that Brandon Daniels was trying to figure out a way to send letters to his attorneys and then have his attorneys or his mitigator, and then have that person send the letters to you or his mom?
I don't think I was aware he could send physical letters. I think that he was trying to pass a message through, but I don't know if I thought specifically a letter. But I was aware, though, like messages in general could be passed through.
Well, you knew that when letters are sent from the jail by someone who's charged with capital murder of a police officer, that the jail is real careful about copying all of the
Yes.
letters?
Well, I see that now that you guys have all of his mail.
Well, we don't have them all, interesting enough.
Oh,
The ones you have brought here today, we don't have them.
which is surprising only because that was the very first letter he sent, and I would have assumed that that specific letter would be, that you guys would have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his first letter he sent.
But we don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So that's why I'm asking about, it may be a part of his plan to avoid us getting that kind of information, that he may have sent it through some other source.
I got it through the postal service.
And you tell us if you didn't get it through postal.
Absolutely, and
You're not gonna try to do something to hide stuff.
absolutely not. And I have that letter in Colorado. I don't know, I know court's getting over today. I could have it overnighted or whatever you guys need, but I have that physical letter.
Right. So, you know, I was asking last time you were here about the code stuff, you
Yes,
remember?
yes, I do.
And you said that you really didn't know anything about that?
No, I said I didn't do anything with the code. It wasn't I wasn't part of a plan to make a code.
You weren't trying to figure out with him about how to make that work so you can understand it if he sent you letters?
Yeah, no, I didn't do anything with those.
May I approach you? What exhibit number are we on? I'm sorry, that's 100. Ms. Bailey, I want to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit number 100. I ask if you recognize that letter.
Yes, I do.
And this is a letter you sent to Brandon Daniels, is that correct?
Yes,
And this letter is dated 3/11/13.
yes.
And I want you to look down. And there's several pages and all in your handwriting,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
Now, do you recognize this page 5?
It's my handwriting.
Okay, I want you to just read over that page 5 a little bit.
Okay.
In fact, I'm reading it out loud.
Okay. It says, thanks for sending me that decryption info. It's packed away
Hold
right
on just a
now. Okay.
Start at the top there.
Okay. About last letter.
About last letter, then what's beside that?
A smiley face.
Okay, and you wrote the smiley face in
Yep.
there.
And then it says the date 3/11/13.
Okay.
Do you want me to read this part at the top?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Up at the top, I said, please call me, Brandon. I would love to hear your voice.
She's publishing an exhibit, I don't think it's been read yet, is
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought, read off the State's Exhibit number 100.
that? Okay.
May we publish? May we publish?
Yes.
So it says, please call me, Brandon. I would love to
Start
hear your
back over
voice.
to make it official, Ms. Bailey.
Sure. About last letter, happy face. It also has a 5 at the top because that was the number, the order that it came in my multiple letters. It was the 5th page to read. It says, please call me, Brandon. I would love to hear your voice. And it says my phone number.
Let me get you slow down just a little bit. I know you're kind of nervous, and if you need to stop and take a break, you can do that.
Okay.
But slow down so the jurors can make out what you're saying.
Okay. It says, thanks for sending me that decryption info. It's packed away right now, but as soon as I can pull it out, I'll send the info back. I'm not sure if I quite understand the XY thing. I can do the math, but would I graph it then? Haha, I'm dumb. If you need to get a hold of me before I write with my new address, just send it to the Plum address. I'll pick it up. 3, month and day we started dating. People may know video games I bought you to come to mind. Halo, Borderlands, sorry, Winky Face, Kung Fu Panda, LOL, Last Cat's Name, Our Cat, or My Old Cat K. What's the difference between two cocks and a joke? Your mom can't take a joke. Ha ha ha, heard that the other night.
So this part where you're talking about the code that we were talking about earlier, correct?
Yes,
It looks like you were planning to do something with this code and get it all figured out.
yes.
So when you said you weren't going to do anything, that was not true, was it?
I said I hadn't done anything with them, and I still haven't. I did respond to the code. I wrote back to him, and they're sitting at my house. But that is correct.
Okay. Then what's this part down here about month plus day? We started dating. Is that part of breaking the code?
Yeah, it was a thing that he had written me, how I could figure out what he was writing to me.
When your people may know,
Yeah,
then video game I bought you. He didn't name the video game, but
No.
that would give you a key to the code, though, right?
something like that, I believe, yeah.
Right. And that's what he had told you, and you were trying to figure out what he was talking
Yeah,
about.
I wasn't.
Because you were confused because there had been a couple of video games.
Yes, yes.
So you were writing him back, trying to figure out
What he meant.
what information you needed so you could understand how to use the code.
Yes.
But you're telling the jurors you never acted on that.
Yes, I am telling you guys that. It was all packed away, and I've been moving since then, and still packed away.
Okay. But you were trying to figure out by sending him a letter after he sends you a letter,
Yes.
all these things that you couldn't quite figure out what he was talking about.
I wanted to know what he was trying to tell me.
Did this come in one envelope or did it come in two envelopes? This letter.
This would have come in one.
Any other letters come in two?
2 envelopes?
No, no.
What do you, I'm sorry.
Any other letters just come in one envelope? Any other multiple
Yes.
letters come in one envelope?
Yes, I believe a few times.
When did you give them this letter that had the, what was the term, unbelievable remorse? When did you give that to those defense attorneys?
It was not last night, it was the night before that.
What made you decide that they needed to see that letter?
Everybody talking about how he was so remorseless, and I remember Brandon being remorseless.
Who was everybody that was talking?
People on the news, I had heard people saying he was remorseless. I remembered that I had this letter, and I let Brad know. I said, hey, Brad, I have this letter.
You were watching the live broadcast.
I was just watching the news.
No, you were watching the live broadcast.
I was watching the news.
Were you watching the live broadcast?
I watched-
Not the news.
Objection, Your Honor, he's badgering the witness. She's answered the questions. Now he's asking her a third time the same question because he doesn't like her
Question's
answers.
the same.
I'm not asking you about watching the news.
You know, again, she's asking the same question.
Well, that's not a question again.
I'm not asking you about watching the news showing little snippets of what's going on in the trial. I'm asking you about watching any live streaming broadcast. You understand what I'm
Yes,
asking
I do.
you?
Now,
Yes.
that's the same question. Again.
Well, I'm assuming this question is, did you watch any live streaming broadcast?
Yes.
Is that the question? She can answer that question.
I did watch them, yes.
That's what I'm asking you. You watched the live streaming broadcast.
Okay.
That's where you got your information about all these people saying there was utter lack of remorse.
Also on the news and there's a lot of stuff on the internet right now. It's just crazy in Austin.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay,
But what I'm asking you about
yes,
is watching a live stream broadcast. You understand that, Ms.
I
Faye?
understand.
Okay, and that's what you were watching.
Yes, I did watch
That's
some
where
of
you
that.
got your information, but I was talking over and over about the utter lack of remorse. Is that correct?
Correct.
And because you heard that on the live, saw that with witnesses on the live streaming broadcast, you came up with this letter where it says he was unbelievably remorseful.
Yes.
Do you believe that Brandon loved you?
Yes.
Were you aware that after he killed Officer Hyman Padron, let me back that up a second. Do you recall after he killed Officer Hyman Padron that you and the defendant's mother went out and met with him?
Yes.
How long after he killed Hyman Padron was that?
It was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so I believe that was 3 days. It was happened on Friday. We visited with him on Monday.
3 days later, was he happy to see you?
Yes.
Did he talk to you about things he wanted you to do for him?
I'm not sure in that first visit or if it was visits following that. I don't remember, but it was, he did tell me some things he wanted me to do for him.
Was that the only time you went and met with him with his mom?
I believe so.
Are you aware that after he met with you, after you and his mom met with him, he told his mom that you were the reason that he was in jail?
I did see that on the news as well. I was not aware at the time. Now I am.
And that he also said he didn't care for you, he just needed you to do things for him.
I did not hear that part.
Was that upsetting for you?
A little upsetting, but I know in the hard time. And like I said before, we were still struggling with our friendship. It was a good friendship. It was hard though. We still would argue a lot, and we were trying our best to make it work because it was important for both of us to have that friendship. So it was not perfect all the time. We did get in arguments and fights, but it was important that we maintain a friendship with each other. Yeah.
You know his sister Sam, right?
Yes.
Did she ever pass on to you a short message from her brother?
I believe so. I don't remember what it said. I remember getting a mail, or he, I think, maybe had told Sam what to say, and she had written it down in a letter. I'm not sure what that letter said, though, but I do remember it happening.
What was it that he wanted her to pass on to you?
I can't remember. I don't remember at all. I just remember the fact that there was a letter that I got from Sam, but I don't remember what it was about.
He wrote a letter to Sam, and she gave that letter to you?
No, I think, because I believe it was in Sam's handwriting. I believe she just said, my brother told me to give you this information. Whether he wrote her or they called, I don't know.
And you don't remember what the information was?
No, sir.
You remember in grand jury, in your grand jury testimony, you were asked how the defendant felt about police officers.
Yes.
He believed that by being really nice with police officers, he could get away with things. Is that accurate?
I don't think he believed he could get away with things, but that was just the way it worked out for him. He would be very respectful of them, be honest, and a lot of the time they appreciated that, and he would be let go. But I don't believe I said that he did that on purpose. It just had, was a byproduct. So he probably continued. If somebody knows that they're respectful and they get out of a ticket, they would continue to be respectful.
Well, he was telling you that's how you should learn to deal with police officers, because that works for him in getting away with things with police officers. Is that the context of it?
I had a fear. I believe I was telling you that I've always kind of had a fear of police officers. They make me nervous, and I just always forget how to act. Like, is this normally how I act? I don't know if it's, I don't know. And so he was always trying to help me get over that. Jenna, they're just people. There's no reason to be afraid. Or if I got pulled over and I'm sitting there shaking, and he's telling me, Jenna, it's okay. So that's, yeah.
It's okay, this is what I do, and you thought, well, it works for him because when he's nice to him, he gets away with things.
No, I think it was more like, Jenna, it's okay. You're going to be okay.
He's something of a thief, isn't he?
He has stolen in the past.
Tell me about that.
Um,
Tell me about the Blockbuster incident and the Coles incident.
Oh, I forgot about that Blockbuster thing. I believe, when he was younger, before I ever met him, this is just a story I guess I had heard he told me. Are we thinking about the right thing?
Coach?
Okay, he had told me when he was younger, before I'd ever met him, probably high school age from what I would guess, had one of his friends held the door open in a Blockbuster. You know, when you go in one door, you have to exit out the other door. One of his friends had held that door open, and he ran in and grabbed some stuff and then ran back out that same door, so he didn't have to go through the other door.
Okay. And the Blockbuster incident?
Or the Xbox, is that the second one you asked?
Yeah.
Okay. The Xbox was, I had originally bought him an Xbox for holiday, his birthday, something like that, and it had broken down. So we went and we bought another Xbox at Walmart. I was there. He returned it, the old Xbox, and he kept the new Xbox. He returned the old one.
He returned a box that had some rocks or something.
No, that was not. That was something else. The Xbox was we returned the old Xbox in that Xbox box.
Y'all kept the new box, but
We kept the new Xbox and returned the older one.
returned the older one in order to get a refund for pretending it was the new one.
We didn't get a refund. I believe we just got a free
You got
Xbox.
caught before you could get a refund. That's why you didn't get a refund.
We never were caught for that.
That's a lie.
That I'm not
He
lying.
was convicted of criminal simulation.
Objection, Your Honor, he
based
wasn't
on that.
convicted of a thing. Mr. Cobb is misrepresenting that. That case was dismissed.
That actually wasn't the one you're talking about. You're talking about the wrong thing.
Okay, tell me the one I should be talking about.
The criminal simulation that had been dismissed was at a Best Buy.
Tell me about that.
Okay, and it was the same kind of thing with the Xbox. Purchased something, and then when he returned it, put some weights or something in there, so he could have that
This
computer.
is when you were with him, right?
I was waiting in the car. I was with him, together with him.
Did he ever tell you about any brain damage he had?
No, he's never told me he had brain damage.
Did you ever suspect he had brain damage?
No, I thought it was depression that he was dealing with.
Now, any other new information you want to give us based upon watching the live streaming of the trial?
I don't believe so.
Had you been released from the rule at the time you were doing it?
Excuse me?
Had you been released from the court's rule?
Which rule?
The rule that says you're not supposed to watch other testimony while you're a witness in the trial?
Oh, nobody's told me that.
Do you know anything about that?
I had no idea. I knew I wasn't supposed to be in the courtroom. Nobody said don't look on the internet or don't watch TV.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor.
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Runner, have the time to rest.
Stay.
Close, Your Honor. And we would close the roll.
There will be a recess for just a moment. As far as the punishment charge, any objections to say?
No, Your Honor.
Defense,
I apologize, Your Honor.
charge, objections?
I need to, I apologize, I need a few minutes to work. I know we had a talk last night. I did, and I was working on argument, I didn't have a chance to look at it, so we'll take a moment.
All right. We need to make a copy.
Yep.